It's good to be on YouTube Live. I have not been on in this space in a long time. So welcome.
Hello.
V and I are here, and yeah, today is a full moon. We actually originally were planning to do a ritual elsewhere, but Asheville got so much snow.
Yeah, we are officially snowed in.
And so here we are because we really can't leave the house. So we thought it was a perfect day to come into this space and do a live just of half of the rituals we do really regularly anyway for full moons. So yeah, hopefully some of you guys can join us. Wilson says hello.
Bye-bye.
As he does.
You've had so much attention. It's time to rest. I have a couch for you.
We have been kind of sharing and discussing out some of the full moon's energy. As both being astrologers, we like to look at this stuff. And yeah, I have done about 8 years of working with moon magic and always having rituals connected to the new and full moon. So just the more astrology you kind of learn and you learn to kind of see the bigger patterns of the universe, the more magical I think doing all these moon rituals really becomes. So yeah, we are happy to go into a little bit of the astrology. We'll let some people come in and we hope you can join us. We'll probably do about I would say like 20 or 30 minutes of yoga once we see who can come in. And then we'll get into our bodies a little bit, release some energy, and then go into a more like receptive state of journaling, pulling cards, and doing all that stuff. Hello, welcome in. Yeah, I haven't been on live in this space in so long, so it feels really nice to be here. I feel like I have the least experience of being live on this app of all of the apps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I feel that.
Let us know where you're at in the world to say hello.
No one said anything.
Cool.
It'll pop up at the bottom.
Amazing. Yeah, so it is a full moon in Leo, so I'll explain a little bit about the new and full moon first. And then if you do plan on practicing with us and doing a little bit of yoga, we'll probably give it like 15 minutes until 15 minutes after the hour for doing that. It'll be super beginner friendly, give lots of modifications, but feel free to put on cozy clothes and get your journal, get any tea, any like needs you have to be more comfortable, pillows, blankets.
Hi, Jess.
And yeah, we'll do a very beginner friendly, easy.
Hi, Bubba. Bye, Bubba.
I'm gonna put him away.
Careful.
Come here, buddy.
Here.
Come here, bud.
He got caught on the thing. Hello, everybody.
Welcome. All right, so I'll explain a little bit about the full moon. And if you're going to join us for actual yoga, we're going to wait until another 10 minutes. So grab comfy clothes, grab your journal, grab tea, extra pillows, blankets, cozy vibes. Yeah, yoga mat.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Hello, everybody.
I love my Aquarius energy.
Yes.
But I'll explain a little bit about why it's important to do moon rituals. So if you don't work with the new and full moon, this can be your sign to officially start working with moon magic because it really is super special. I have 8 years of journaling with every new and full moon, and it's been such a cool ritual to have in my life because it's just 2 times a month. that you're setting yourself up for a calendar event that already does shift your energy, and you're telling yourself 2 times a month, I'm going to check in with myself. I'm going to journal some stuff out. I'm going to keep documentation of what is coming up in my life, what themes, and it really is a way to like see your progress, your evolution of your soul. It helps you like have perspective, because sometimes I think we can't even realize how much we've shifted and changed, what has come up for us. Hi, Shelby. This is
hi,
so
Bretlin,
special.
too.
Hi, Bretlin. Welcome everyone. It's really nice to be in this space. We have missed coming live, and yeah, we'll probably be over here a lot more often now. So yeah. Sharing about the moon though. So new moon to new moon is about like a 30-day period. So anytime we have a new moon, we are setting intentions for a new beginning. It's when the sun and moon are together in the sky. We're writing all the stuff we want to have come in and setting our intentions for moving forward. Today is a full moon. So in between the new moons, we have a full moon. So it's about 2 weeks out from the new moon. And the full moon, the sun and the moon are opposite to each other in the sky. So there's an opposition. So the sky asks us during full moons to look at who we are, our sense of identity, and then our emotional worlds, like what we feel intuitively, what we feel emotionally, and like look at the tension point between those things and release anything that we no longer want to be carrying. So full moons are more chaotic. Full moons are definitely more emotional. It's when a lot more happens in the world is connected on full moon days. It's usually like a ramp up of emotion. And all of that is usually to have some kind of release. It's meant to help you shed emotions, or maybe actually release something in your life that physically isn't working for you and it keeps throwing you off. The full moon likes to amp up the energy so that you'll look at something in maybe a slightly different perspective. We've cried a lot over here.
Another part to this full moon in particular is that this is the last full moon in the year of the wood snake. And so snake energy is shedding. I'm sure you've heard that a lot, but it's also like a stagnant thing. Like you're not supposed to like force the shedding. You're supposed to sit still and just let things happen and let things shed and fall. And I really am feeling that in this last full moon. And then of course with the little Leo spice, the emotions are just like really loud with all of it.
Yeah, Leo is a fire sign. It is definitely like very connected to our heart. So there is a lot of bigger amplified emotions. Leo's connected with the sun, and the sun is obviously kind of a big deal. So when the full moon is in that sign, the emotions can just be a little louder. And I think for all of us, the world has been shifting a lot. There's been a lot of having to recalculate like our place in the world, what to do, our sense of identity. And this moon is really connected to these bigger cycles of Pisces we've been having that have kind of helped us see beyond illusions. We've had a lot revealed to us, and we have learned a lot about the people in power, our place within it. And I think it's just brought up a lot. So if you haven't let yourself feel a lot of it, maybe those feelings are really amplified. And this is, the last.
Maybe you have felt a lot of it,
and that's
you're gonna
good.
feel more of it.
Yeah.
I hope you're not tired of it yet.
We are so close to finally getting like the forward propelling momentum that we wanted. But we have a little bit more time. So we are about at the final couple weeks of...
There's a lot going on between now and 3 weeks from now. Yeah. Astrologically, if you do Chinese New Year, like... There's just a lot
coming, yeah. And so we're at the very end, so it's a lot, and that's okay, and you can be kind to yourself as you feel bigger feelings.
Also, today is Imbolc, which is actually the midway point of winter, so congratulations, you've officially made it halfway through winter.
I'm catching up on the comments. Yeah, we are. I said that this Aquarius season was gonna be like different than any Aquarius season we have had, and oh my gosh,
It's owning up.
it's
owning.
already been a journey.
So much it literally has been changing from like hour span. Like things will like hit the fan, and we're like, okay. Like the first few, we were like, whoa, and now we're like, okay. Okay.
Yes, and Shelby, we've missed you too. If you guys have questions on any of the stuff we just brought up, definitely let us know. And as I said, we're gonna drop into the body a little bit together. My classes are always very beginner friendly. We will give a lot of options for your body to feel comfortable, and it's really not even about what I teach for yoga. It's going to be a lot more about you like listening to what your body needs, and we'll just be in it together.
Dropping into the present moment.
Yeah, so get cozy and get what you need around you to feel comfortable. We are gonna get into the body first because that helps us like open up the feeling and intuitive channel a lot more, versus just dropping right into journaling, which can sometimes be challenging if you are a little bit out of your body, which the emotions have been really heightened. So it would make sense that maybe sitting in the body is a little harder. So we'll do it together, and that will help. And then
This will be my second yoga class of the day.
Ooh, hell yeah.
Definitely need it.
Yeah, we've been just jumping from one regulation technique to the next over here.
Yoga to crochet to dance.
Yeah, trying to survive. And then yeah, if there's still people hanging out at the end, we have our moon cards and can pull some of that. If you end up having to run, we'll try to get this up so you can still do it, because usually you'll feel the full moon's energy like 2-ish days before and about 2-ish days after the actual full moon. And yeah, this is like a really good, so what we've done today, like some additional rituals we can share is maybe light some candles, since this is a fire full moon. Releasing with the element of fire can be really nice. So candles are extra potent on moon days and fire moon days. And then also anytime we're in a full moon, it's really nice just to, you know, take a bath, do some stuff just to calm some of the emotions down, release. You can cleanse your energy with like incense or sage, maybe open the doors, windows, let some fresh air come in. Just
first of the month, you can blow some cinnamon in your door for abundance. I'm gonna go grab the other tripod so we can put it up for later.
Yeah, and yeah, we're starting, you know, as we said, we're closing out some pretty big cycles. So the feelings have been really amplified. So if you guys have questions on any of that, let us know. And explaining even some of the astrology, I can help in a more personal way after, to just talk about it. But I know for myself, I'm a Leo moon, so this is my sign, and I feel like every single thing that usually grounds my sense of self has been pulled out from underneath me. So there's been a lot of feelings around this, but here we are in new spaces, doing new things, trying to work with the energy, and I'm really happy to be here. And if you've never taken classes with me, I have been teaching yoga since 2016. I'm really like getting close to the 10-year mark, which is really crazy to think about. And yeah, I combine a lot of different things. So I'm an astrologer, I do yoga, I do energy healing, I lead retreats and workshops, and I moved to Asheville in April of this last year, and so I do a lot more in person. I don't do as much virtual, but we still have a virtual community that we put classes out weekly for. I just used to do a lot more lives and a lot more content than what I do now, but I still try to put up what I can. And so yeah, that's some of the things that we have going on. And I come from a healthcare background. I have 13 years experience in doing physical therapy. So for me, working with more complex body types is kind of what my whole career has been about. So when I do energy healing and yoga, I'm coming at it from knowing how important that is for being able to reconnect and rebuild connection within your body, because that is something that can get so lost, especially with just how much the world kind of can cater to one normal way of doing things. So I feel like a lot of people can get turned off by yoga because it always appears to be one way, and like online space, it has sort of an ableism behind it at times, that yoga is actually just so crucial for carving out space and time to look and feel into your body and get to know it in a better way, and to just like learn to make adjustments and tune into sensations that maybe you haven't in a really long time. So that is the energy that I bring when I teach classes. We are gonna start here with movement and the next minute. So just let us know if you have any questions beforehand. And that is the order that we'll kind of do stuff. So I'm gonna set the camera back a little bit and then type anything you have. I put in the description a link for a playlist. So if you do want to have some music playing while we move, you can play your own playlist on your end. I personally really enjoy having music. So that's another thing you can do before we get started here. And thank you for being in this space. Okie dokie. Make sure you guys can see me okay, hear me okay. Let me know if there's any final questions before we get started. All right, looks good. So what we will do is we are going to start in a seated position. Got it? Okay. We are going to start in a seated position. So if you want to take a pillow, a blanket, a yoga block, something to put underneath you, that can be really helpful, because just sitting up tall can be a lot on your body and put a little strain through your back. So having something to help can be nice. And then that way your knees can fall a little bit below your hips. You can find a nice natural curve in your spine, and you determine how you want to cross your legs. So they can be really loose, it can be a cross set, whatever feels good. And then we will go ahead and have our palms just rest on our thighs. And we'll look straight ahead, and you can either find something to focus on in front of you, or you can just soften your gaze or close the eyes completely. So to initially drop in together, we are going to take 3 breaths. So we'll breathe in through the nose and sigh it out of our mouth, so we can just drop into the body. So starting with our inhale, breathing in through your nose, filling up the chest, the belly. And then open the mouth, sigh it out. Taking that 2 more times, breathing in. Releasing. And 1 more time, breathing in. And releasing. Then you can close the mouth. If it still feels good to kind of sigh it out, do it. It is a fire moon after all. Otherwise, with our eyes closed, we'll feel ourselves just land a little more in our body. You can squeeze your shoulder blades a little bit, feel some opening across your chest. And then just notice where your breath goes as it flows in and out of the nose. So breathing in still deep. You want to feel the breath not only lift through the chest, but through the side body, the back body. And then as you exhale, you can make your exhale a little longer and feel yourself really drop into just more softness in the body, releasing tension maybe that you're naturally holding. Maybe this is the first time all day you've actually made some space to tune in. So just noticing what you feel. If there's something that actually stands out, maybe physically in your body, just taking note of it. And noticing how you are, maybe where your energy feels like it is. Is your energy feeling really heightened? Is it low? Is it somewhere in the middle? Is it hard to put into words? Maybe even noticing where you're at emotionally. Just taking that initial noticing and then letting yourself feel the ground beneath you. Feeling into the rise and fall of your breath still. Maybe rocking your hips forward a little more, sitting up a little taller in your spine. We'll set the intention for this practice just to let the next 20-30 minutes be about doing what you need. So I will provide some inspiration, but you can listen to your body. And Leo's really about the heart. So letting our heart come forward, setting the intention just to make space for our heart to be heard, to be noticed, to be witnessed. We'll take just a couple more breaths and we'll start to find some movement. So keeping with the deeper inhales, slightly longer exhales. Go ahead and blink the eyes open if you have them closed. Let your fingertips come just afloat at each side. Maybe they touch the floor, maybe they don't. Sitting up a little taller through your chest. And we'll drop the left ear towards the left shoulder, creating a little stretch for the right side of the neck. Breathing into that space. And then guiding the head to center and taking the right ear over to the right shoulder. Other side. And guiding our breath into that opening. And then we'll take it one more time. Slowly passing to center, left ear to left shoulder. And then passing to center, right ear to right shoulder. Bring it into center. We'll put one hand on top of the other, like right at the collarbones, putting a little weight onto our chest, a little press. And then we'll start to lift our chin up towards the sky. Now, if it's pressing the back of your neck, don't go up that high. It should feel like a nice stretch for the front of your throat. And if it feels good a little bit to rock a bit side to side, you can. Just opening that throat space, couple breaths. pass it into center. Release the hands down. We'll take the shoulders up by the ears and then let them roll down and back and just create a little loosening for the upper neck in between the shoulder blades. You don't have to force it really strong, just a loosening here. Still breathing with it. Beautiful. We'll start to take our arms out to the side. So bring them up to shoulder height. Tip the fingertips back, maybe even a little. Squeeze your shoulder blades so that we're opening through the full arm, the full chest. And whatever creates a stretch down the chest, the arms. Everyone might look a little different. Take a deep breath. And then as we exhale, we're gonna wrap the arms around us and give ourselves a little hug. So the hug can be really loose if you wanna make a little more room for your body. It can be as tight as you want it. And then we'll just do a little side to side rocking, like a little dance, giving our inner child, our current self, just a little hug, a little support. Leo is all about the inner child, our sense of joy. Breathing with it. And then notice which arm we have on top. So we're going to inhale and find that full expansion across the arms, across the chest. And then switching the arm on top as you round everything out, you determine how tight you want to make this movement. Maybe just a little bit of sway side to side. Still breathing in and out of the nose. Beautiful. Inhale to come back open. And then this time, as we exhale, we'll just bring the palms together, or at least towards each other. Round out your back. You can kind of bring your chin towards your chest. And we're going to do this 3 more times with our breath. So inhale to fully expand, open, shine your heart. And then exhale to round, close it off. Just bring your energy more in. And 2 more times, find your own pace. And then inhale, expand back open. 1 more big stretch, turning the palms, opening the hands even nice and wide. Little palm stretch, and then release your fingertips down. We'll switch the cross of the legs to the more funky side. So however you have your legs, just create a slightly different shape. This side might feel very awkward if you're really used to always doing it one way. And then we're gonna take the left hand down, reach the right arm up, and then flip the palm so that the palm is down on that top arm. Soften your bottom shoulder. And then reach with the fingertips, press into your right hip, and then breathe into the right side of your body. Fully opening through the side. That can get tight as we close things off during the day. And if it feels good even to dial your chest down a little bit and reach out at a little diagonal, you can take that little counter movement and then expand back up. Option to do that 1 more time or just hold where you're at. And then we'll take it over to the other side, putting the right hand down, bringing the left arm up and over. Spin that top arm where the palm is facing the floor. Soften your bottom shoulder and then push down through that left hip as you reach with your left fingertips. And then breathe into the side body. And maybe it feels good to stay open. Maybe you want to take this little kind of funky option of just dialing your chest down, reaching. That might add a little more opening for your spine. And And then option to reopen and maybe take it one more time. If it doesn't land good, just stay with our first option. And then both arms can do a full reach up towards the sky. We'll turn the palms to the front edge of our mat. And then bending the elbows, cactusing the arms, we'll open across the chest. And then inhale to reach up. Exhale to bend the elbows, open across the chest. Inhale to reach up. One more time, exhale. And then inhale to reach up. And then as we come down, just go slow, roll out your wrist a couple times, and just loosen out the hands, the wrist. And we'll take whatever prop that we are sitting on and just put it maybe towards the front of your yoga mat. We're gonna bring the legs out in front of us, and then you can kind of find this reclined position. So maybe your fingertips point towards the back of the mat. Maybe they turn towards you, and that feels like a nice stretch on your shoulders. See what the wrists are liking, what the shoulders liking. And then lift through your heart so we're not dumping into our shoulders. We're lifting through our chest. Walk your feet hip distance apart or maybe even wider, the width of the mat. And go really slow, but slowly let the knees fall to the right. Create a little rotation through your hip. This will help to loosen even the back. And it might not be a very big movement. This definitely is an intense rotation stretch for your hip. And then guide the legs to center, bring them over to the other side. And make sure we're breathing. We're going to take it one more time each way, passing to center. Through center, one more time the other way. And bringing it back. From here, we'll use our legs in whatever way to kind of bring ourselves upright. You can make as much room for your belly as you need. The right hand is going to stay connected to the right leg. Maybe it can reach the ankle, or maybe you're up a little higher. And then the left arm is just going to open to kind of go at this diagonal plane, opening through the chest. And then shifting it over to the other side, anchoring yourself down at some point on the leg, and then opening the right arm up. And then option to do that one more time to each side. Beautiful. And then if it feels good, you can keep your hands anchored, lift up a little taller, and then fold from your lower belly forward. So maybe you want to crawl your hands forward, or maybe you want to keep your hands on your legs, and see if you can find just a little hip, a little back opening there. Everyone will look a little different in this shape. Maybe the inner thighs are really opening. Just an option to take a couple breaths in this funky little folds. And then start to walk it back. Beautiful. In whatever way you need to transition, we'll come into a tabletop shape. So in our tabletop, if your floor is really unforgiving, I would just pop a pillow or a blanket under your knees. And then your hands come under your shoulders. So you spread your fingers really wide so that there's a really strong base. And the important part is we are pressing with our hands so we're not dumping into our shoulders. And that helps to protect your wrist, your shoulder joint. And tabletop is a good challenge for posture, so this is a pose within itself to practice. So from here, we're gonna just get into the hips a little bit. So if you end up needing to drop onto your forearms, you can. Otherwise, we'll just try to shift our hips over to the right and then back through the right hand corner of our mat, through a little child's pose, and then over to the left hand corner, left edge. And then you decide how much you even want to carve your hips forward. And maybe you even close the eyes here and just tune in to your hip. There could be a spot that feels really good to hang out at for an extra breath. And we're just loosening into our legs, our low back, our pelvis, the hips. And we'll just keep going with this direction. I'll give us a few more rounds of breath and then we'll shift and go the other way. There are so many pops happening over here.
Is it?
And then once you make it back forward, you can start to go the other way. Still really adding in the movement with your breath. You determine how little these circles are, these movements are. You determine your pace, but breathe with it. All right. And then a couple options. So whenever we're in down dog, if you want to take the knees really wide, you can always just drop to a child's pose. And that's just sitting back towards your hips. Maybe you bend your elbows or maybe you extend your arms out. So there's always the option to come back to this pose. Maybe you need to be up on a block so it feels like there's enough room to breathe. So you can always make that adjustment. If it feels good in your body, we'll take a down dog just to loosen through the back of the legs. So you can tuck your toes and lift your hips up and back, and you can widen your feet really wide so that there's room to press back into your hips. So you still spread your fingers out, all 10 fingers, press through all 10 and press into your hands so we're not dumping into our shoulders. Bend your knees a lot so all your weight is mainly going to your legs. You can shake your head out a little bit so we're not holding tension in our neck, even as we stay strong in our arms. And then you can loosen the back of the legs. So maybe you bend one knee at a time. Maybe you want to kind of rock your hips side to side. Maybe you want to bounce. You can decide what feels good just to loosen the hamstrings, the calves, the arches of your feet, all those muscles along the back. We'll hold one more breath. And then if you're in down dog, you can walk your hands back. If you're in child's pose, maybe meet us here. So take your feet really wide, like the distance of your mat may be even. Bend your knees a lot and just let your body sort of melt forward. You can use a pillow, a block, a blanket if you feel like getting towards the floor is a little too much. Maybe you grab opposite elbows and it feels good just to let gravity release you towards the earth. Maybe you want to sway a little side to side, but keep your knees really bent for this first one so we're not overloading our hamstrings. We're letting our low back just stretch, release. And we'll take some breaths here. letting our exhale be a little longer and letting each exhale tell our body to just soften more. Maybe our head can release a little more. And then very slowly, we're going to come up to standing. You can walk up your legs, or you can just move very slow and intentionally, stacking one vertebrae at a time. And that was an inversion, so take your time coming up just to avoid any dizziness. And then let your shoulders sort of roll back once you get to the top. And we can reach our hands all the way up and get this nice full stretch for the spine. And then pull the hands into our heart, our center for this evening's practice. And we'll just pause for a moment in this moment. So maybe you look down at the feet. You see if you have one foot more turned out. Find some symmetry between both sides. And then feel yourself pull up that earth energy. So feel into the bottom of your feet. Feel some tightening in your quads, your core. Pulling up some energy through. And then feel even the thumbs connected to the heart. Just taking a moment here. A few breaths in this more heightened awareness, standing tall. And then we'll take a couple options here for a little heart opener. So your hands can come behind and maybe you grab opposite elbows, and that already is a bit of a stretch. Maybe you can interlace your fingers and find just pressing and opening through your chest. So this will be option 2. And then maybe you stay upright and you just breathe into this space we're opening. Or maybe it feels good to bend your knees and let your whole body melt forward. You can kind of pull the arms away from the body. And we'll do a couple breaths there, wherever you're at, whatever option. If you're folded forward, you're going to come up just as slowly, just guiding your hands a little closer to you as you rise. And still going slow just to adjust. It's that little flip. And then we'll release wherever you're at. We can just kind of find a little shake. Good to get that little Leo playful sort of fire releasing energy anyway. So shake through your knees, shake through your arms, and we'll just shake for a couple breaths. Beautiful. And then pause for a moment. Feel all that life, all that buzzing, all that energy in your body. Just tuning into that for a moment. Beautiful. Then from here, your hands will come to your hips. We're going to step our right foot forward. So we have one foot about at the middle of the mat, one towards the back. The back foot's at a slight 45-degree angle, and then the toes are pointed forward on the front leg. Make sure we're hip distance apart so we're not too narrow with our legs. And then take your hands on your hips and fully have them aligned to the front. Now, if you're extra hypermobile like myself and you tend to lock your knee, watch for locking as you start to fold slowly over that front leg. And it might not take very much and you already feel a stretch, so that'll be your place to breathe. If you do keep going lower, just make sure you don't start turning that back leg. Try to keep everything dialed to the front. And maybe you lower down to blocks, maybe you lower down to the floor. Just don't lose the integrity of your spine and don't let yourself turn out just to go lower. I'd rather you be upright and feeling the right alignment and stretch in the body. And we'll take a couple breaths. Use the strength of your legs to come up slowly, rise and lift it. Feel that firing up of the muscles. And then we'll shift legs. We'll step one foot back, step the other one forward. Set yourself up with that back foot at a 45, feet hip distance apart. Spiral your hips to the front. Watch for that locking. And then fold forward at your hip on this side. It might be a little different than the other. Just watch for that turning out of that back leg. Keep everything dialed forward and breathe. Then start to rise and lift it up. Don't go quick, go slow so you feel that muscle work. And then we'll step to the back of the mat again. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up. Grow your spine tall. Widen your feet. Exhale, melt it forward into that forward fold. And from here, we're gonna walk the hands forward, drop down onto our knees so that we can shift onto the ground. Bring your feet in front of your mat. We'll scoot our hips forward and then you can use the back of your legs as a guide to bring yourself down onto the floor. Giving a moment for your spine just to settle once we get there. And take a little wiggle. And then from here, we're gonna hug the left leg in. So you can use your clothing to do so. You can go on top of the knee, or maybe you can interlace your hands behind your thigh to see what feels good. And as you pull your knee into your chest, if you feel pinching in your hip, just take it a little more out to the side. And then find that sweet spot where your hip joint is happy and you're getting a good stretch for your hip, your back. We'll take some breaths here. Release your left foot back down. We'll take over to the other side. Same options. You see what feels good as you pull the leg in towards the chest. Find a spot that feels good in your hip. And then find your breath. Let your hips soften, your low back with each exhale. This time you can bring the other leg up. So now we have both legs in. Make as much room for the belly as you need. And we'll just take a little side to side rocking, giving our low back a massage against the floor. We'll release the feet down one at a time. Widen your feet to about the distance of the mat again. And then you can see what feels better. Maybe you take a field goal sort of shape with the arms. Maybe you take them directly out to the side. And we'll let the knees fall to the right. We'll let our gaze go over our left shoulder. Maybe you close the eyes and stay here. Maybe your bottom leg wants to cross over that top leg. That'll add a little deeper stretch for your hip. And we'll take some breaths in this reclined twist, breathing. Tuning in maybe a little more to that longer exhale if we lost our connection to it. Let's do 3 more breaths on this side. If you have that bind, go ahead and undo it. And then we're just going to bring the knees to center, let them keep on going over to the other side, flip your gaze. And then same options, maybe you just let the knees fall, maybe it feels good to cross the bottom leg over the top leg. And we'll breathe here. Do just a couple more breaths on this side. And we can start to unwind out. You can shift yourself back into center. And then you decide if there's any other shape your body feels like it needs before we go into our final meditation. So if you feel ready, you can just start to lay down, take up as much space as you need. It can feel good to put something under your knees to help your back. So just do any final thing. We'll eventually make our way down and find ourselves in our Shavasana. Always how we end our practice. And that's the part you definitely never want to skip out on. So we do all the wiggles, all the poses, the postures in yoga, really to help ourselves be able to rest more in this final pose. So it's all about learning to stay present. So it can be easier to stay more mindful and present while we have something complicated like the poses to pay attention to. But maybe as we get really still, it's easy for that monkey mind to come back in. You start thinking about other things, maybe about your day or anything. So the idea isn't to stop your thoughts. The idea is to just let them sort of float by. I like to picture like I'm laying, watching shooting stars, and that my thoughts are just going by. I'm trying not to latch on to any of them. And if you do, that's okay. Just let it go. Try to come back. So get yourself as comfortable as you can to where your body really feels like it's in a restful shape. You can close your eyes or soften your gaze. You want to relax your jaw and your forehead, the like little muscles we don't even notice we are maybe holding tension. Maybe you take one final deep breath. And then let yourself just breathe however is natural. And maybe you just notice your breath. Maybe you notice your third eye or your heart, just picking something to stay present with. We'll stay here for several minutes just in this present moment. And I will call us out after. So while we are laying here, we're in this receptive, more meditative state. I want you to sit with what will be our first journaling prompt of what gets in the way of our light? What can we let go of that keeps us from shining? And I just want you to sit still and think of some of the things that block us from being able to be our most expansive self. Maybe some things are coming to mind. Maybe that's a tougher question. Just even noticing the feelings that come up. So this Leo full moon is really sitting with the energy of what blocks us? What are our excuses? I would do this, but I would love to be able to do X, Y, Z, but this happens. I have to do this instead. And just sitting with those things. And so maybe you want to stay here in stillness and just sit with that prompt or that thought a little more. Maybe you start to find a little movement in the body. You can bend one knee up at a time. You can roll onto a side if you are ready to start coming out of Shavasana. And then just sit on your side. You can do a little scan of your body. Just giving a second for yourself to come back. And then when you are ready, you'll just make your way to your journal. If you have it with you, amazing. If you need to go grab it, that's okay. And we're going to spend just a few minutes right into writing before I share anything else, just giving it a few minutes. While we're in this soft, receptive state. And once you do make your way to your journal, write that it's a full moon in Leo. Write what today's date is, the 1st. So we're sitting with the first question. What gets in the way of your shine, or what blocks you from being able to step into your most expansive self? And I'm just going to give us a couple more minutes and I'll sit closer and can answer any questions. And we have a few other writing prompts we'll do as well. So once you've made your way to your journal, and V is able to write out a few of the other prompts in the chat that we are going to do. Coming up a little closer for any questions.
We haven't had anything new since.
Okay, amazing. And so once you're sitting up and you're back out of Shavasana, thank you guys for joining me in the flow. Just wanted to be able to stay in a little soft state for some of our writing. So if you missed my beginning little spiel, so today's a full moon in Leo. We're sitting with that Leo energy, which is really connected to our heart, our sense of self-expression. I'm going to talk a little bit more about the astrology after we've had some space to journal, because even with the journaling, these might bring up some pretty big themes, because there is a lot of stuff we're all going through as a humanity, as a collective right now. So I feel like a lot of that is bound to come up with our reflections. But Vio is able to type a couple of the other questions up.
It pops up as you.
Yeah, perfect. So what's currently coming up for you? What can you release and let go of that dims your shine? What gets in the way of your self-expression? And what are 5 things that make you feel confident? So they're all typed out in the chat. We'll give, how about we do like maybe 5 minutes of just quiet, or music if you're playing music, to sit with those, and then I will re-engage. take this last minute to do any other sentences, and then I will answer any questions and share a few other things. How do I type? And one other writing prompt that didn't get put on our list that I also would love for you to write down, because I think it's important, is just writing some of the current things that are going on in life so you can sit with that after.
That's like the first thing. What is currently coming up for you?
Oh, yeah. Okay, I do have it. Yay.
I was like,
Good.
I just did that prompt, actually.
Good. Yeah, and so I share that because it's important. So, you know, next year we'll have another full moon in Leo, and it's really nice to be able to hold time to go back and remember what's currently going on. So I usually make a list of, you know, some of the stuff going on in the collective, some of the things going on in my own life, some, like what's going on for work and relationship. And that way it's just kind of a little time holder, in addition to just some of the energies of the actual full moon too. Yeah, so Jess, I recommend lighting some candles, and you can either just, you know, do a little tune in to the candle itself and make it its own form of meditation. The other thing that can be really nice is to actually write on paper some of the things that you put on your list that you want to let go of. Obviously, fire safety, and then just letting yourself watch that burn. There is a really beautiful ritual to actually working with the element that the full moon is in for releasing. Yeah, and ask anything you want to ask. I'm going to have like a little bit of a conversation on some of the astrology, so if you guys want to keep journaling, you definitely can. And yeah, I want to share just another little train of thought, because the astrology right now is intense. I'm grabbing my sweater. And so yeah, if you pop in, not quite sure what you mean by that question.
I feel like that's a trap, personally.
If you want to rephrase the question, maybe we can understand it. But yeah, sharing a little bit about the astrology, because I have to be a little more like mindful probably of what words I use and don't use within these live spaces, by the way, but we'll share. So right now the sky is like definitely like pretty intense energy. I think we can all kind of feel that, but we have so much Aquarius energy happening in the sky right now. So not only is the sun in Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius, Venus is in Aquarius, Pluto is in Aquarius, Mars is in Aquarius. So we have this huge amount of planets all in one sign, and then Leo is the opposite sign to Aquarius. So with this Leo new moon, the moon is facing all this Aquarius energy on the other side. And yeah, with all of that added like Aquarius energy, we are dealing, Aquarius is the sign that rules the collective. It rules humanity. It rules just the systems at large, like the bigger things that we are building on for our future. So Aquarius is all future oriented and where we are going. And we are dealing with Pluto's energy in Aquarius. So right now in Aquarius season is usually pretty social. We usually interact with a lot of people, and it's usually just like a easier, lighter time. But we have Pluto there for the next it's like 29 more years. And so Pluto is like having us face the power and control lessons around Aquarius. So it's having us look at what is blocking humanity from being able to expand for everybody, what blocks are getting in the way on us, like being in a more humanitarian system where everyone's unique sense of expression has room and voice. So it is very revolution energy that we are experiencing as a collective. Pluto has been in Aquarius for revolutions. We have a lot of planetary alignments at times that we have gone into battle and had to stand up for what we have wanted to see in the world. So this is definitely very interesting time for Leo. So, you know, thinking of this full moon, as I was thinking of what gets in the way of my expression, I think there's a couple personal blocks and stuff I can work on, but a lot of what blocks me is bigger systems overhead. It's the power systems that are running a lot of stuff that actually makes it pretty hard to be my most expansive self.
I just wrote the same exact thing.
Yeah, I'm sure everyone's like probably brought that up in some way. And yeah, so the point of this is I think right now what we are going through is a lot of withdrawal from what was convenient and expected and normalized. And so some of the release that I think is involved in this full moon is having to unplug from things that are actually taking some of our power away. So, you know, I've had a huge emotional time over here in our house because, you know, I built this big following up over on the other app. I don't know what I'm allowed to say over here, like what's going to get me into trouble. And I've put all of my time, energy, and attention into something that is now really not a safe space for all the people that I love. It's becoming a very, like, you know, dangerous social media space. There is tons of censorship and suppression happening. And like there are fights happening, but overall the powers that now own that app are just not feeling good. And so, you know, it's really sad because social media is a huge part of my self-expression and how I like voice out a lot of the sides of myself. So I think it's important that yes, we don't want to be shrinking at all. We want to all be expanding, but I just think there's a lot of shifts happening that are going to change what that looks like. And some of it might be bigger release with all of that Aquarius energy, and then just our Leo side over here. Our sense of self-expression is needing a way to output and go out, but it's also we are having to figure out how to go against really big humanitarian systems that block that a lot of the time. So we've been, you know, paying attention to who owns what we put our time, energy, and resource to. We have been paying a lot of attention to what online spaces we give our energy to. We are really trying to put, if not all of our money, into local community, unplugging from as much as possible. And that's leading to us having to like lead with our heart and our sense of self-expression in very different ways that feel vulnerable and kind of like emotional because it's new and it's not like what we've normally given our energy to. We're having to find different systems of finding access to food and figuring out how we prepare the food, like things that we haven't had to do. And so if some of this is coming up within your moon reflections and journaling, yeah, I just want to validate that we have had a lot of truths come to the surface. We've been able to see a lot of corruption that we couldn't see before. And it is definitely all of our it's important that we protect our heart, but also our energy bodies and what we are interacting with. And I think for a lot of us, we maybe got into autopilot on a lot of those things, and there is a lot shifting. So there is big emotions that come with all of that, and getting maybe some new habit loops into play. And you know, I just wanted to throw that out there for some food for thought. And as far as, for the comments in the comment section, yeah, I have a lot of like simple exercises and yoga classes on my page. I'll just throw that out there as a answer for options. So anytime I'm teaching a class on here, obviously I'm not here in person to be able to correct form, and I just have to give options. But yeah, there's some other classes
Jen
and
also
stuff too.
offers private like yoga sessions if you need someone to like
Help.
visually help
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. Yeah, so let me know any of your thoughts if you're still hanging out with us. Thanks for being here. If you have any final questions on that, definitely take screenshots of the journaling prompts and sit with them, because there is a lot of food for thought and a lot of emotion within this full moon. It is the very last full moon, as V said, of this year of the wood snake. We are in like a final shedding. And so much is about to change in the next 3 weeks. Like energetically, things are going to feel very, very different. Like the astrology is taking a very different turn. We have been in like receptive yin energy. It's been like all earth and water, and we are moving into yang energy, which is all fire and air. We already have had a lot more fire and air come to the surface. So there's already been more energy, but we haven't fully been able to launch and initiate. And a lot of that is coming in the next couple weeks. So this is just a good full moon to kind of sit with your heart, sit with everything that's changed, sit with where we have grief for what was. Like, oh my gosh, I've been feeling so emotional over here. So just know that that is so valid. Thank you, Bretlin. I'm sending big love to you.
Can I also just say that this was my second yoga class of the day, but you found spots in my body that I didn't even know needed to be grabbed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cool. Yeah, and I think it's just a redefining. Like our Aquarian nature is really getting loud, and like we want all of humanity to have space. And there's a lot of power structures right now that are not humanitarian and not giving any of the stuff we need. But I just want to like validate that it's exhausting. Like life is already exhausting. Like I'm sitting here like I'm trying to completely get off of Google, and like, oh my gosh, it is so exhausting. Like going through and like purging all these previous forms of self and all this stuff. Like I am trying to give every one of my pennies to a good company that's going to care about me as a person.
But you know how many companies are not companies that care about us as people?
Yeah.
Which is a whole other grieving process in its own.
Yeah.
0 phone companies. 0 of them.
Yeah. We're trying to like really pull a lot in. So places that we've gotten like very autopilot, we are trying to rein in. But it is not easy to do this. But it feels very full moon in Leo of releasing out like just the previous way of moving and identifying and trusting ourselves and shifting a lot. Good. I'm so glad you're here. And then yes, we're sending just so much gratitude to our little Leo moon up there. We still are going to have the energy of this full moon for the next couple days. So just be easy on yourself, give yourself some self-love, and just know we have to take everything in strides, and that a lot of energy shift is coming. And yeah, light some candles, do some self-love, do some painting, do some dancing. All the Leo expressive stuff is always going to feel better. And thanks for getting into your bodies. Yes, you're so welcome. It's going to be nice. We are going to try to come on here a little bit more, but this is like a new space for going live. Like I have not done a lot of lives over here. So yeah.
It's been a fun experiment.
Yeah, thank you guys for helping to support just our hopping onto this space. And for the people who I invited here, I'll send you guys like a little moon card. And I hope you have a good rest of your evening. And yeah, I will have the journal prompts posted up, but if you want to reach out if you need them. And then I put in our description, and it's also linked in our bio over here, just Venmo if you want to donate anything. We would appreciate it. There is never pressure, but it's there in case. And
it helps us being able to offer things like this.
Yeah, as we navigate all the things. So happy full moon. Thanks for being here, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.